This is going to be one of my trailblazing analysis videos, an analytical discovery that really shifts the way I write. Other examples would be how to write power escalation and power-ups, and what makes a good character. So I was thinking about making a video on what makes some anime considered perfect by fans on a collective level. I was heading in the direction of maybe shorter lengths or sticking to the formula that was introduced towards the start as possible answers. While I still think those hold some truth, this train of thought brought me back to a question I've asked myself before when thinking about what separates the so-called perfect shows from the flawed ones. Is spectacle a burden on good writing? Let me explain. When I say spectacle, I'm mostly referring to the epic action scenes and fights that battle manga and anime are filled with. What are some anime that I believe are collectively considered perfect? Cowboy Bebop, Death Note, Fullmetal Alchemist, Code Geass, Attack on Titan, and Monster. This is the list I'll stick with. What do they all have in common? They either don't have action scenes as spectacles, the action scenes are very short, or the action scenes aren't treated as spectacles. From a writing perspective, why would spectacle be a problem? I'd say because it pauses the story. They are unnecessary for writing a good story. During those long and exciting fights, the plot, characters, and themes are not being developed most of the time. When summarizing the story, you can basically say X fought Y, and they ended the battle with these injuries. Meanwhile, all of that action might have taken up 2 whole episodes. But Death Note does have its own form of spectacle, which is the mind games that Light and L engage in with others or each other. The difference is that those battles are not only short, but they move the plot forward in unique ways due to the varying results. When L beats Light in episode 2, the plot develops because now L has narrowed down Kira's location. When Light kills Ray Pember and Naomi Misora, he hinders the task force, but he also narrows down their targets once again. When L meets Light in person, this prevents Light from killing him directly. When they play tennis, this allows them to pretend to be friends at school. When L gives Light the deductive test, this increases L's suspicion of Light and allows him to be recruited into the task force. I could keep going, but you get my point. The same thing can be said about Code Geass and its battle of wits. I could even throw early Promised Neverland in there too. Meanwhile, when a battle manga hero beats a villain, most of the time, the result is that they've saved themselves and or other people. The overall plot or status quo doesn't change that much. In summary, stories without spectacle use their time more effectively because more time is dedicated to developing one of the 4 pillars rather than spectacle that slows down the development. And when stories like Death Note have spectacle, it's not only kept short, but pushes the plot in unique directions. The only spectacle that could be considered a waste of time is the tennis match. Let me go over the others in the perfect list. Cowboy Bebop has some close quarters fights and gunfights as spectacle, but all of them are short. FMA has some fights that are treated as spectacles, but they are short. Other fights aren't treated as spectacles. Code Geass has mech battles as spectacles, but they are also short. AOT has spectacle action, but also action that is more frightening than spectacle. Both are short. Finally, Monster has some shootouts, but they aren't treated as spectacles. It's not all bleak though. Out of the 4 pillars, only 3 need to be frequently developed in good stories: character, plot, and themes. Setting development is not that important. While most battles don't have development, there are some that do. The most notable example, and my favorite, is the philosophical battle. If 2 characters are debating their philosophies during battle, that is theme development. There are many examples of this. The main stories I know that do this are Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, Magi, and Magical Index. If the character grows as a person during the battle, or new parts of their personality is shown, the battle provides character development. Most philosophical battles do this, but examples of non-philosophical fights that develop character would be Goku vs Frieza, Gohan vs Cell, most of Yusuke's fights during the Dark Tournament, and Ichigo vs Ginjo. In Goku's fight, he shows how forgiving he is towards evil people. In Gohan's fight against Cell, we learn that he doesn't like to fight or kill. Later in the fight, he learns that it's okay to fight for good, allowing him to get angry, kill the Cell Juniors, and defeat Cell. Though he's not fighting, we also learn about Goku's flawed thought process towards his son in battle. In Yusuke's fights, they show off his love for fighting. When Keiko is in the crowd and sees Yusuke smiling and enjoying the fight, she and the audience realize just how passionate Yusuke is about fighting. The fight also develops the antagonists as people. In Ichigo's fight, he was finally ready to kill another person and technically did by the end. For fights that have plot development, look no further than Stone Ocean. I already have an entire video dedicated to this topic called Elevating Plot Progression, so check that out. Like Death Note, the results of the fight change the status quo. Creating good spectacle is also a writing skill itself. Creating a good fight and a good power system takes planning, creativity, and logic. I have videos analyzing what makes a good fight and a good power system. I wouldn't say it's as important of a skill as nailing the 4 pillars, but it's definitely an art form that is respectable, so I definitely do appreciate their existence. So what's my conclusion? If a battle manga is able to progress the plot, characters, and or theme in every single fight, similar to the examples I gave, that would mostly eliminate my argument of fights being a waste of time towards increasing the quality of the story. If the fights were also shorter, maybe an episode at max, that will completely eliminate my waste of time argument. And if the fights can also be written and spectacular, then that manga will be getting the best of both worlds and creating a story that surpasses the perfect list and the best battle manga. Making a battle manga tightly written like this would take a lot of planning, but it would be worth it. Maybe one day I'll accomplish this. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.